Arwa, and I am joined by my good friend Sonia, and we are coming to you from the Housewives of USTA podcast. All right, Sonia, we have a fun episode today. Today's episode is about our least favorite and favorite opponents and other tales from the court. We're going to indulge you today in some stories about what we like, what we don't like about our opponents. But before we get started, I know you had a fun match this weekend, Sonia. Tell us a little bit about your opponent and maybe what happened at that match.
For sure. This is very timely because I just had a played against a very interesting opponent this past weekend. And I don't want to start off like in a negative fashion, but it just so happens that I did have this experience this weekend with a certain opponent. And on the night before, we had a get together with our tennis friends, and the captain was there. And I kind of nudged the captain. She kind of knows everything. And I was like, who do you think I'm going to play tomorrow? And God, do I wish I didn't ask that question? Because once she told me who she thinks I'm going to play, this girl has quite the reputation. And I have to say that night, I didn't sleep that well. I woke up in the morning not looking forward to it. So I already went in. I and also this particular person I had played before and pulled a muscle, and the way she acted when I pulled the muscle wasn't in the best fashion. So
Yeah, she wasn't kind to you, I
she was
remember.
yeah, so all in all, I wasn't looking for it. Anyway, get there, she shows up, she's infamous for this with, 3 bags, and she sits down, and I'm wanting to start the match because I gotta pick up my daughter or whatever, but she's there with her applesauce and juice and makeup and vitamins. That was the start, but
It's a
I
production. Yeah.
yeah, and I went in with a strategy. What I'm gonna do is kill her with kindness. And I was super friendly and happy and whatever. So I'm up 2-love, and this is where things started to go sour. Um, 2-0, and it's her serve, and it's 30-40. She's serving, and she serves it, and the first serve is out. I catch the ball, and I was maybe my bad. I will take ownership of that. I just don't think the reaction was worth it. I said, "Hey, would you like this ball?" She goes, "I already have a ball. Are you trying to get in my head? Are you distracting me? What are you doing? You're really, really annoying." And I mean, went off on me, off, to the point where the people on the other court started looking. It's
No.
loud and bad and
Oh,
awkward when that happens. And I said, "This is not that deep. Let's calm down.
yeah.
Okay, I will hold the ball. I'm not trying to get in your head. I was just trying to be nice. This is
Yeah.
not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal."
Right.
And
And it
then
technically is your error, right? That's why they have to have 2 balls so that if they need a second serve, they already have the ball.
yeah,
But I also get it, like, you making that comment, while maybe she could have said, "No, it's fine. Please hold,
yeah,
like, I'm trying to serve."
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think
And
she probably overreacted.
if I was a coach or her coach or something, I would say, like, try not to get in your head. It's like that player Sablenka. As soon as she stopped getting her head, she started winning everything. It's
Right.
so mental. If you get worked up about things like that, tennis is
Yes.
not going to work for you. And it's probably not your sport because
Right.
you have to be in that right mindset. So then
Totally.
she was criticizing all my line calls, and it was starting to annoy me because, I was second guessing. Like, at the end of the day, if a ball's out, a ball's out. It's
Right.
sunny and she can't see from far away or anyway,
Right.
decides to call a line judge.
Dear.
Fine. It's someone from our team, someone from her team, and we're going, and she calls one of my balls out. And I thought it was in, so I asked the line judge, why not?
Right.
They're
She's
there.
the one who called him. Yeah,
And
fair.
the line judges said it was in. And this girl, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making this up, this is real, literal started crying and saying, "Everyone's against me, everyone's against me." I mean, stop the match. Losing her shit. Yeah. So finally calmed down, and she composed herself, and then I was up 5-love, and she started creeping back, and it was like 5-1, 5-2. I said, "If I don't finish this now, I can't take much more of this," because you know what else she was doing throughout the match. I'm not going to say the name, but she must have said her name 50 times. You know how
Yeah.
if I go, "Sonia, Sonia, Sonia," and
Right.
it was such a mental game for me to stay focused
Yeah, to sort of
after.
know that she
Yeah,
was Because you do have to recognize, like, my opponent is kind of breaking apart, but you can't let it distract you is the
You
key
can't let
because
it break you
you can become
apart.
distracted.
Yes, exactly. And after the match, the judge from my team was like, "Wow, good for you. I could never have done something like it was just a lot." Yeah.
We don't get paid to play recreational tennis, Sonia, so
Yeah,
yes.
well, I wish I was paid for that, and I needed a drink after that, and that was just not fun. The last thing I will say about the match that is a pet peeve of mine with opponents, I don't mind a little bit of anything in moderation is fine, but it just got out of control where and I think she has a pro there, so she's very used to it. She was like, follow through, move your feet, hit the ball, come on, you got this. And she
She
would
was
say her
pumping
name,
herself up, but yeah,
but it
in
was a
some ways
lot. It was nonstop after every shot. If a shot went in the net, it was a whole speech to herself.
wow,
It was a lot.
for you.
Needless to say, I definitely need a break from playing with her, but Arwa knows that I was scheduled to play 2 weeks from now, and the singles player on that team is only her, which means I
Yeah.
would come across her in 2 weeks.
And who's gonna cover
So
you, Sonia?
Arwa was such a nice friend. She's stepping in to cover me because she knows how much I dislike that match. In hindsight, though, it made me stronger. It was a kind of a funny story,
It is a
you know,
fun story.
a funny
No?
story.
Yeah, I know you texted me afterward, and I was like, "Oh god."
Felt really
I
bad for
I would
me.
and the only thing that I can offer you is because I know this person, I could at least tell you, "Yes, I feel your pain," and
And it's not
only
personal.
it's really not personal, and she is a good player, we'll give her a lot of credit, she's
She's
a
very good.
great player, and,
If she could get her mental,
maybe if she yeah, if she just stayed a little more focused on the court, I think, she'd give us quite the run for our money,
yes.
but it is sometimes we all tell tennis stories, right? We all play together and we sometimes we're on the same team, so I know we always share these stories. I think this is the one story where if you don't know this person or have never played against them, it seems like you're exaggerating and you're really not.
Right. And
And I
you know, as I know, that
yeah.
there's one other example, same person with one of our friends was her opponent, our friend's opponent, this girl, and actually, in fact, threw her racket, had a mental break, throwing the racket, crying,
Yeah.
everything. So again, there's a reputation here, and it's too bad because this is USTA. Yes, okay, it's competitive USTA, but we're all doing this for fun. I
We
look
are.
out on the sun and I'm happy to
Yeah.
be here. It's good exercise. And
Yeah.
I just want to be on court and feel great and feel like friendly vibes.
And
So,
this is not for anyone to think that Sonia's not competitive, though. She says she's friendly, and she is, and she's sweet, and she'll smile at you. But she is a silent assassin, and she will run down balls that she has no business running down, and she'll freaking grind you down, and she will beat you. But I think what we're saying, though, is we can be incredibly competitive, but we do
yeah.
keep it in perspective that we don't
And
make
I
her
think
living.
I hope I keep it in a little. I am.
Yeah,
Believe me, I'm going through
you try
all
to
the
fake it.
emotions
I
she's
know.
going through
I see how
a little
competitive
bit.
you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But I think
Arwa,
we
oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say we put it in perspective that we're not professionals, so we don't make when I watch professionals and I see them throw their racket or get really upset or yell at their box or whatever, I can see their emotions boiling over, but I also know that this is the one thing they're good at, right? And this is how they make their living. And I think for us, the question
It's
is
more justified a little bit, like it's their
maybe,
everything. Yeah, they work
yeah, and
so
it's
hard and they're
how do you
paid.
balance
There is money at stake.
right. And how do you balance competitiveness with really, we do it
Sportsmanship,
because we're competitive, but we're really trying to get a workout and we want to socialize, right? We want to meet other women who share our passion. And so I think
the
that's the hard part
biggest
for us.
thing is for me, I don't know about you, but it's getting exercise. No one thinks exercise is fun. But to be honest, I just found
Yes.
something
It's
where
so
I'm
fun.
doing exercise and I'm having fun. Hello,
And
magic formula. Like,
yeah,
but as soon as it's not fun anymore, I'm out.
then I'd rather be on the treadmill, right? Isn't that how
Like
you feel?
for
You're like, at
me,
least the treadmill is not yelling at me and making me feel
thank
bad.
you. Thank you. And the other thing is, yeah, could I get a win next 2 weeks playing her? Yeah. But
Maybe.
is
She's
winning
going
the
to come
only
for you.
thing to me? Winning is not the only thing.
Winning
It's
is not
having fun.
everything.
So Arwa, what about you? Like, I want to hear
Yeah.
from you. Do you have like a real life experience with an opponent?
I have I have so this episode is like our favorite things about opponents and our
Yeah.
least favorites. I'm going to start with my favorite thing about an opponent
Okay.
because I just had maybe the opposite experience that you had. I actually had a really fun match with a good friend of mine. We're both super chatty. I don't know if our listeners can
And
relate
this was
because I
partners, right? Doubles.
no, this was a singles match. We had
Right.
a
Okay.
singles match.
Okay.
But we've played on the same teams. We're good friends. We text, we debrief about matches. Anyway, she shows up and we are both chatty Cathys. And I got to say, that's my favorite thing about an opponent because we're sitting there gabbing to the point where I think the court next to us is kind of like giving us dirty looks, like, shut up, we're trying to focus. We're like,
Go to
oh,
a bar.
sorry. Yeah. And then I think her own team captain at one point was like, shut up and focus. I just love that. I mean, again, I'm competitive. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not. Like, I freaking gave her everything I had. She's a good friend, but it didn't mean, but we were being friendly. And, I think we were being fair to each other in terms of the line calls. Neither of us wanted to rob the other person of a great point. So anything that kind of remotely looked like it could have been in, like on both sides, was given in. So the chatty Cathy, I think sometimes can be
Yeah.
controversial. Some people are like, I don't want to hear anything about what you did and your kids or until
Oh
after the
no,
match.
so
Please don't talk to
serious.
me.
Yes. Yes.
Is that
That's
you?
least favorite. That's
Yeah.
least favorite. But going back to what you were saying about chatty and all of that, when I first played you, I would say you were an excellent opponent and you were, for me, you encompass my favorite things. And
Yeah.
that is going back to your point, someone who's friendly and talkative and relaxed helps me play my best tennis because I'm
Maybe I
relaxed.
shouldn't have talked to you because you played really good tennis that day and you
Yeah,
beat
3
me.
hours later.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know that's, again, that could be divisive. And I'd love to hear from other people whether they like the chatty Cathy or they're like, nope, save it for after the match. And then you can tell me all about your children or your weekend or whatever. But my least favorite, because I've had plenty of doozy opponents that
One
I'm just
more
like,
favorite, and then we can end on the
okay,
favorite. I
one more
do like
favorite.
when people say, "Good job," opponents.
Yes.
Good job. Nice shot.
Yeah. Give me a
When people
compliment if I
started
make a
doing
nice
that and I
shot. I
felt
do it.
yeah. Well, I never did it, but then people started doing it, and I'm like, "Oh," when I joined my country club, everyone's like, "Nice shot." It makes me feel good. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I wanna make
You're
people feel good.
paying it
So I
forward.
even this girl that I played this past weekend, even though I was so annoyed, I'm like, "Wow, that was really good. Good shot," you know?
Yeah.
So
Racket
that's
tap.
okay,
Do you do
now
the
we're
racket tap or do you just say nice shot? Because I do the racket tap a lot.
what's that?
The racket tap, like, especially if I'm turned around, I just like tap my racket, like kind of like an applause, but with your racket.
Well, I don't do that, but that makes me feel really hyped up. Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because usually I'm like, let's say they put it in the corner and I'm like, let's say they pass you because you're turned around to look at the ball. I give them that way because, I'm like, I'm turned around. So the only thing
Yeah.
they can see is my
They see
racket
is your
tap.
racket up there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's kind of end this podcast on least favorite.
Okay.
I don't
My
want to end
least.
on a negative, but more general. We talked about my specific example, but some things, least
What
favorite
do I?
opponent
Okay.
type
I'll
stuff.
tell you, I love to play fast. That's kind of my rhythm. And there are a couple girls that, dear God, they take forever and a day. In between every point, they purposely walk slow. And technically, USTA rules are that it's server's pace. And so if I'm serving, like, I am ready to go. I just,
Yes.
I
But you're too
drop my
polite to
balls.
go. You're too polite to go if they're turn or
Well, yeah,
whatever.
this one girl literally just like would turn her back or pretend like she's looking at the
And you're
other
not
court.
going
And
to
I'm like,
serve.
and I did have to tell her, I was like, hey, server's pace, just so you know. And then I actually went back to the USTA handbook to look up how long you have in between every point because
How
I
long
thought it
is
was
it?
egregious. And
Yeah.
I really don't like that. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. I consider one of the few weapons that I have is that I can grind down ladies and I'm athletic. So after a long point, I don't need a
Yeah.
long time to recover. And this lady I can tell was spent and she was like huffing and puffing. And so I think she was trying to recover. But part of me is also like, okay, but like you can't do that after every point because you're taking away the one weapon I have. So
Yeah.
that's probably why.
Okay. So interesting that you say that because Um, I was at sectionals in Sacramento where it was 100 degrees, and the lady I was playing, well, this is one of my pet peeves. She acted, I hate when people act so friendly and nice to you, and then you start playing and they're a completely different person. So this girl at sectionals, of course, was like so nice. We're walking onto the court, we start playing, and again, got another line judge called on me because I was taking too much
Maybe
time.
it's
But
you,
she was
Sonia.
used.
Maybe it's
I know,
you.
right? Yeah. So she said I was taking too much time, but it was 100 degrees and I was trying to it was really, really hard. So I like taking a little more
You like
time.
your time.
Yeah.
No, this was very, very, it was every point. It was, you know, freaking 10 or 15 minutes after the first set. It was extensive, I'm telling you. But
Yeah.
why don't we
Well,
ask everyone
so
else to
sorry.
share? Go ahead.
Yes. Two more little things.
I want to hear.
Opponents that take it like too seriously,
Yeah.
that I just want good vibes on the court, and that because I'm competitive, I feed off that. And then the last one, no, two more. Question every line call. Not a fan of that
I've
because
had
there has to
that.
be respect.
Yeah.
And I just,
How do you react to that when they question every line call? Because I think I used to fall for it and I actually would start giving them the point. And then I had a team captain who kind of took me aside and was like, "You have to stand behind your line calls. Otherwise, like you're kind of being pushed
yeah.
around." And I was like, I thought like I want, because like we're trying to be nice. And I'm like, I don't want anybody to think I'm a cheater. So I've had to learn to be a little tougher on that.
And it's much easier when you have a partner because it's both of you
In
and,
doubles, it's easier, but in
yeah,
singles, you're like, what am I supposed to do? I
hard.
swear I saw it
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah. So, and end on this because there is someone famous in our area for this. And I'm not going to do it justice, but when someone's making a lot of noise on the other side, not only like we know grunting, like what is it, Maria Sharapova? She's
yeah,
a
Sharapova.
grunter,
And then
right?
Sabalenka is the current version, right? Where she has a
No, I don't
very
find
long
it that
grunt.
bad. Okay.
Oh no,
Okay.
she just got called on it at the Australian Open. It
Okay.
was hindrance. Yeah, it's the first time they've ever called it on her.
Because she grunted and the ball was on the other side of the court.
Yeah, they said it was too long or that it wasn't continuous, that she's like, yeah, yeah, or something. She has this weird thing sometimes she does, and she's never been called on it, but I think this Empire decided, like she put her on notice, and it was very early. Sablanka went on to win that match, and she kind of cited it as she actually fed off of it, and she said that that made her play better. But yeah, tell us about
Interesting. Well,
your
I
opponent.
can't do it, but you kind of just did it. It was like I can't even do it. A very loud, awkward noise. And it's
It's
mainly
strange.
indoors where one of the places we play. So it echoes and everyone knows, oh, this girl's in town. She's here serve.
I've played
And it's
her,
on
and
her
I was
serves.
warned about her grunt, not to be distracted, but it
I
is
don't
a
even know if it's a
very
grunt.
it's like a scream or a
Screaming for
primal
hyenas or
call.
something. Anyway, this is a funny note to end on.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, thanks for
Go
sharing your fun story. And I tell us what your favorite or least favorite opponents are. Follow us at housewives _of USTA and leave your comments under this episode. We'd love to hear, do you agree? Do you disagree? But we'd love to hear your stories.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Sonia.
Bye.